Hey, my name's Loz, and I want to ask you, are you even asking the right questions? So, all of my mentors, I follow quite a few. My biggest ones would be Tony Robbins, Brendon Burchard, Dr. John Demartini, and probably these guys. So I'm reading a book called The One Thing, and it's by Gary Keller with Jay Papasan. Absolutely amazing book. But the general consensus of all of these texts is that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. And therefore, I pose to you, if you're not asking the right questions, you're probably leading a pretty mediocre life. And in my opinion, why be average when you can be awesome? Why live a life of mediocrity when you can live an extraordinary life? Now, I used to ask really shitty questions. In fact, I don't even think I even asked questions for a long part of my life. I was one of those people that thought that they knew everything. But when I look back, and hindsight's an amazing thing, but when I look back at my life, I'm like, who even was that? Man, I ask so many questions on a daily basis. And the one thing that I've learned from this amazing book, which everybody should read, as well as books by Dr. Demartini and Brendon Burchard, High Performance Habits, Dr. Demartini, The Breakthrough Experience, and Tony Robbins, well, I mean, he's got heaps of them. The thing that I've realized is that reading books helps a lot, listening to podcasts helps, and they really break down what it even means to ask a quality question. So I don't know where I was going with that, but essentially asking questions that give you meaning and purpose and direction allow you to have a better emotional response and therefore take proper actions. I used to have a lot of dreams about being successful. Pretty much that's what most of them are about, being famous, being successful. None of that came to fruition because they were just dreams. And unfortunately, goals are just dreams if they don't have a plan. And you can't create a plan if you're not asking the right questions. So if you're the kind of person that's like, why does my life suck? That's a pretty generalized thing to say. I mean, if your life sucks, then you're asking the wrong question. Okay, so a way to rephrase that would be, where could I seek opportunities right now? Or what things have worked for me in the past? Or where would I like to be? Where am I now in my life? Am I as far along as I want to be? And where would I like to be if the answer to the first question is no? See what I mean? All of a sudden, they're actionable questions because they stimulate a part of you that wants to create change. And we tend to get stuck in lots of parts in our lives and get stuck in patterns of asking questions that don't really give responses that will lead to anywhere. If you're feeling uninspired, this is a sign that you need to start asking better questions. So I like to look at the what, where, when, why, and how. So literally, that takes me back to about year 6 at primary school when we learnt about investigative journalism and asking the right questions. So I actually learnt this at school back in 1996. And really, I never carried that through to my adult life until, recently. I've absolutely immersed myself in self-help books, and just the fact that all of them run through with the same thing indicates to me that that's how you do it. So I always wonder, if I've got a poor quality question, not only do we look at the flaws in your thinking, but also look at the wins that you might have had to get you to that place that you're in now. When it comes to formulating goals and strategizing the steps to take you from your reality to the options of action, asking the right questions is really, really important. So I like to use the Tigre Method when I coach. So T-G-R-O-W. So I always look at a topic. So when I feel a bit stuck, I always look at a topic. So what's the thing that I'm feeling stuck in? Is it my health? Is it my job? Is it my personal life? Is it my relationship? Etc., etc. And then I like to look at the goal. Okay, so if that's what I'm looking at now, what's the goal? Is the goal, in my professional life, for example, I want a change of career. Okay, so what's the reality? So the reality is I feel like I'm stuck in a job where I have no fulfillment. I've been doing it for a long time, but it kind of doesn't fill my cup. I'm a bit tired of it. I feel like I could be contributing more to society. Okay, cool. So that's the reality. What are the options? Well, the options would be I could do nothing, in which case the answer to that would be that nothing would change. The option is I could start to strategize steps towards changing my situation. So that would require a bit more thought and probably some better questions. I think they're really the two options in this particular situation. Either you change or you don't. So they're the options. And what would be the wins, or what would you do in order to make that happen? So if you were strategizing a plan, a career, like what would you do? You'd be looking for other jobs. You'd be looking at things that you might be interested in. You'd be looking at your values list, your belief systems, and there's a whole heap of questions. So see, all of a sudden, by using like some methodology or some framework, you suddenly start to ask better quality questions. So I guess from here, all I'm going to suggest is if you're feeling stuck at any point in your life, maybe go back and start asking yourself why you're feeling stuck, how you're feeling stuck. What does that actually feel like? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you stressed? And then start to ask yourself what, why, where, when, and how. Map a goal. If you're not happy where you are in your life, you have 100% ownership over that. You have 100% accountability for getting to the place that you are, and you have the capacity to change your life just by asking better questions. Chat soon.